USS Constitution has just completed a 3-year restoration, and now you can see America's ship of state afloat once more. Here at the museum, we are pleased to offer award-winning hands-on exhibits where you can see, hear, and touch the remarkable history of old Ironsides.
USS Constitution has lived now in 4 centuries. The oldest vessel still afloat in the world, and a living symbol of the United States Navy. But she is more than a symbol. She embodies the national story and tells 1,000 stories within that story. A marvel when she sailed out of the 18th century, Old Ironsides is a miracle as she sails across the 21st. Constitution's story begins in strife at the birth of the Republic. From the start, the United States merchant fleet is vitally important to the success of the young nation. But the unprotected ships carrying expensive cargo prove easy prey for armed vessels from Great Britain, the French Republic, and the Barbary coast of North Africa.
Would to heaven we had a navy able to reform these enemies to mankind, or crush them into non-existence.
President George Washington's persuasive appeals lead Congress to authorize the construction of 6 warships in 1794. And the new United States Navy begins. A genius from Philadelphia named Joshua Humphreys designs the ships, 6 frigates of a new sort, powerful enough to outfight anything their own size, fast enough to outrun anything larger. American ships built of American materials, live oak from Georgia, white pine from Maine. Hundreds of trees felled for each ship. 6 ships built in 6 American cities. One is the frigate Constitution, named for the country's founding document and launched in Boston on October 21st, 1797. The young Navy proves its might in the War of 1812 against the strongest maritime power in the world, Great Britain. Embroiled in a global conflict with the French Empire, the British deny American vessels the right to trade freely and seize ships and sailors bound for their enemies' ports. With the rallying cry of free trade and sailors' rights, the United States declares its second war against England on June 18, 1812. 2 months later, on August 19th, USS Constitution sailors stand up to the mighty Royal Navy, changing themselves, their ship, and their country in the process. Under the command of Captain Isaac Hull, Constitution meets His Majesty's ship Guerriere off the coast of Nova Scotia. In the heat of the battle, British cannonballs bounce off Constitution's thick wooden sides. Sailor shouts, "Huzzah! Her sides are made of iron!" And the ship's nickname, Old Ironsides, is born. Guerriere's masts fall one by one. An American shot riddled her hull. The British captain surrenders. 4 months later, Constitution, under the command of Captain William Bainbridge, battles HMS Java and seizes victory again. By war's end, Constitution makes history once more, when Captain Charles Stewart and his crew defeat 2 smaller British ships at once. Constitution's decisive and unprecedented victories mark the emergence of a new power on the world's seas. The war gives Americans a newfound confidence. The nation's most victorious ship gains lasting devotion. Says one American newspaper,
"Let us keep Old Ironsides at home. She has literally become a nation's ship and should be preserved in honorable pomp as a glorious monument of her own and our other naval victories."
Ships don't live forever, whether made of wood or iron. In 1830, there's talk of breaking Constitution up.
Such a national object of interest, so endeared to our national pride as old Ironsides is, should never by any act of government cease to belong to the Navy, so long as our country is to be found upon the map of nations.
Struck by these words, a young Harvard medical student named Oliver Wendell Holmes pens a poem in defense of old Ironsides.
With better not her shattered hull should sink beneath the waves. Her thunder shook the
His verses, widely published, spark a public outcry, and the Navy saves the beloved ship. As Constitution's usefulness as a warship declines, her role as a symbol expands, and her career continues. She sails for nearly a century on a diplomatic mission around the world, leading the African squadron in the fight against slavery, serving as a school ship for midshipmen at the Naval Academy, and transporting American exhibits to the Paris Exposition. But the memory of Constitution's former glory eventually fades, and by 1925, her survival is in jeopardy once more. Her strong wooden sides riddled with rot, the ship is sinking at her berth. But this won't be the end. Children rally to save old Ironsides. They answer the call by donating their pennies to rescue the ailing ship. Citizens of all ages lend their support, and old Ironsides is made new again. The Navy sends Constitution on a 3-year tour of the American coast as a token of thanks to the thousands who supported her rebirth. Over her career, Constitution's flag was nearly lowered several times, but citizens of this country refused to let her sink and decay into oblivion. Today, the future of old Ironsides is bright, thanks to all who care about the ship, the Navy sailors who serve as her crew, the Navy's skilled craftspeople who restore her, the National Park Service who preserve and interpret the Navy Yard she calls home, the museum who brings her stories to life, and especially you here today. With your support, Constitution sails again, the nation's ship of state, preserved as a living symbol of a Navy and a nation